All right, what up, YouTube? What up, X? Today we're going to be going over crypto cranks, Bitcoin scenarios, because nobody knows. Oops, here we go. And we're going to go over a handful of different scenarios today to see how we can be prepared. We got a bunch of different levels. We're either in a downtrend, we're in a sideways range, but we are going to be prepared regardless of what the price action is going to be. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. Had a wonderful weekend. Last night was pretty cool. Good UFC fights. I had a lot of fun. But I am now that we're getting full swing back into the to the Coliseum. We need to be prepared. And again, today we're going to be going over all of my Bitcoin scenarios. You guys can see right off the bat, I'm still in my XRP trade. We're up almost $5,000. It's cooking. The trade is cooking. And I did call this trade out inside of the Coliseum to my premium group. We said that when the news happened on the Bitcoin dump down to $100,000, $98,000, there was a handful of different projects like Polkadot at $3, XRP at the target was $2. But when we saw that Bitcoin started to recover pretty fast, we did end up taking the XRP trade here. It's 210. 208 was the target. Just a quick little recover when we were looking at this. We could see that if we just pull a fib, from high to low, we came almost down to the golden pocket. When we started recovering a sideways trade, and this is when I fired off in the trade, and we're cooking. We're up almost $5,000. Shout out to Zoomex. Lowest fees for you guys. Crypto Crank and the Coliseum fought for you guys. We do have the lowest fees. Let me just show you guys real quick. We have the lowest fees for you. You get the tier 4 fees just by signing up. This is my partner. You get a 1-to-1 match for 30 days up to $100,000. I went ahead and I'm full port on Zoomex. And let's just go back over here and I'll show you guys real quick. I did get my match. If you just look over to the far right, for the next 30 days, I'm going to be trading with 140, 150K. So let's see if we can get into some big trades, do some damage on the account, baby. Let's see if we can make some whoppers for the rest of the next 30 days. Starting off with our XRP trade. We got a little 61 grand onto the trade here. We're up almost 5 Gs. But again, today we're going to be going over Bitcoin scenarios. And we're going to just take it from a fresh start and go raw. So let's get over to TradingView. If you guys just don't mind, give me an audio check real quick. Make sure that everything's good for you guys, because we're going to be going over a handful of different scenarios and how we're going to be prepared for this. All right, let's start it off by the daily, guys. First of all, we can see here that Bitcoin is either inside of a sideways parallel channel. If we were just to go over to our tools here, parallel channel, and we just go from all the tops of these, you guys can absolutely see that Bitcoin is in a sideways parallel channel. Now with its price action, it's not good. It is not good. What's up, Irv and everybody? It's not good that Bitcoin right now is making lower highs. High, lower high, lower high, while also making lower lows. All right. So just based off of probability and how we're looking at the market structure, we're currently at a top. Bitcoin has a pretty good probability that we do end up putting in a lower low over here towards this 96. And we're going to start finding some levels of where can she fall to in this scenario. If Bitcoin was to follow just this simple sideways parallel channel here, we're at the top. You can just see here, if we just go to like a path. Let's go to our path real quick here. We can see here. Here's our path. Probability states that, we are going to end up coming down here. This is a local top for Bitcoin. And I would say that if Bitcoin was to break down onto this level right in here, all right, if we did end up putting in a lower high, or I'm sorry, a lower low, where can Bitcoin fall to in this scenario? Again, just strictly based off of this parallel channel. And then we're going to go into some other indicators that are showing that this is a top. We'll go into market cipher. And again, I was originally pulling the fib from this low right here before any of this price action happened. I was saying from this low to the high, I was calling on my vacation and my premium at $99,000. Where did we get that number from? If we just pulled our fib from this low right here on this flag to our all-time high, you guys can see here, if we just clean this up, we came directly down to this golden pocket, and it was a beautiful bounce. This is exactly where we got into some of these XRP trades, some of these other trades, and some of these guys got into some wicked Bitcoin trades. But you can see there, we came right down to the golden pocket on this lower low. We had a nice big V-shaped recovery. We came right up to the top of the parallel channel. I'm expecting to see the same thing happen all over again. But where's going to be our next level? Okay, I was talking about these huge liquidity grabs. Price action likes to pull towards liquidity. It likes to munch liquidity, take that money out of the market, swallow it up. All right. And what I mean by that is when I said that if Bitcoin was to break kind of this trend line right here, this bottom, right in here, you guys can see that we'll drop this just a little lower like this. You can see bounce, did not bounce, kind of a fake out, came down to the golden pocket, V-shaped recovery, back up to the top of the parallel channel. All right. Where can Bitcoin break down to? And we were talking about the liquidity grabs. I was saying that this right here is huge. This $100,000 is huge for these guys to be taken out. Same thing with this scenario here at 92. And then right down here at 83. All right. And we got to see our first big liquidity grab. All right. Right at this $100,000. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Bounce again. First big liquidity grab is right here. This is nothing but a big liquidity grab. And we're going to go over a handful of these crazy scenarios right here because this is an institutional bull run. The whales and the entities have full control of Bitcoin right now with the Bitcoin ETFs. And again, we can see here again, first liquidity grab. We have our next flag here, this flag here, first liquidity grab. I have a feeling, guys, that the money needed in order to see a new all-time high, if this parallel channel was to play out the way I'm talking about, and we do end up putting in a lower low, it's going to be somewhere inside of this area, and that's between 91.5 and all the way up here to 95K. Somewhere in here, if we do end up breaking this parallel channel and we break down, I could see absolutely a big scare. Bitcoin takes the big liquidity grab, smashes all these other guys that have just been longing here. Boom. In this scenario, okay? So again, we got to be prepared because there's nothing scary about any of this. There's nothing scary that if Bitcoin did end up coming back into the low 90s, you guys got to remember, this is too perfect right here on these flags. This is so systematic right here. So systematic with the whales and the entities that are pumping this, that we almost got to plan, we have to plan for these big liquidity grabs. Again, anytime we have these big accumulation phases here, these are undecisive. Undecided traders, if we're going higher, if we're going lower. Everyone's shorting from here, everyone's longing from here, boom, they break out. We smash the shorts. Everybody's shorting from the top here, boom, we smash the shorts. And at some level, these guys do end up starting to hit the market sell button here. We got to see what's going to end up happening in this scenario if we do end up coming back down and making a lower low. So in the longer term, I would say that Bitcoin has a pretty good probability of coming back down and taking that liquidity back here in the low 90s. All right. Now, if we were to pull in the big scenario right here, because we are talking about if Bitcoin was to break down on the parallel channel, let's start finding some confluence on some levels. All right. If I was to pull a fib from our low of 74s up to our 111s, we do see that the 382 is right here at the 98.7s. We have a 0.5 at 93, and then we do have the big 618. All right, this is our golden pocket scenario, and this is what I was talking about. Now, I'm pulling this fib from a couple of different areas, from the very low. Again, if I'm going to pull a fib here on this flag, I'm also going to pull one down here on the bottom of this. And this kind of gives me that confluence now. If I was just to pull it off of this flag like I did here, all right, why would I do that? If I pull it from this wick to our all-time high, all right, we do have confluence that we came down to this golden pocket. We bounced. So now let's pull it down to the lower flag right in here. you can see that we have multiple touches here from our highs to this flag low. We do have confluence at $93,000. This is why I'm saying that if we were to see another big liquidity grab, we smash these guys here that wanted along this, and then we take out these guys as well. We see a wick, just like we did up here. We come down and see that same wick. Now this is, yeah, so for the values, if we break, I think if we break $100,000 again, we are going to end up seeing those 91s. If we break 198 Gs right there at that fib level, I think our next big fib level is going to be down towards that $91,000 to $93,000. 91 to 93, and I think that, again, this is still very bullish. This is still very bullish. All right? And what I mean by that is this is too systematic for Bitcoin on these flags. These entities have it on lock. So if we're thinking in a big, broad spec, this is our new range. All right? Just like how we had it right here. This was a big range right in here. I would say that Bitcoin, if you want to see a new all-time high and a new market structure heading up towards that 120s, 150s, you actually got to pull the fib from the very low to the high. And you can see here that if we even came down to $88,000, you would have a low, a higher low, looks something like this, and we could still climb all the way back up. So even $88,000 in this market shouldn't even scare anybody. I think that we still can hold the market structure for a bull run. This is an institutional bull run, guys. This is not a retail's out. Retail's broke. Retail ain't fucking with crypto right now. And the retail that has participated is so overly packed with altcoins, and they're down so much. These guys are down so much on altcoins that they're not fucking around with Bitcoin. They're not even entertaining the fact of buying any of these levels, because again, retail's broke, and retail is so overly packed in altcoins. It's ridiculous. Because again, most people don't know how to trade the cryptocurrency markets. Most people don't even know about Bitcoin dominance markets to see exactly what's going on. Bitcoin tells us the story. And if we go to Bitcoin dominance right now, guys, let's go out to the 3-day. We can see here, Bitcoin is still coming up to the like a freaking terror right now. We're up at 65%. And I think we have targets of up to 70% for Bitcoin dominance. 70%. This doesn't look like she's slowing down. You guys tell me. This looks insane. And normally we get these big blow-off tops on Bitcoin dominance. These blow-off tops, blow-off tops. Does this look like a blow-off top to you? I don't think so. This does not look like a blow-off top. This looks like still accumulation, ready for a fucking trumpet. Whoop! Right back up into this range here, up to the 70, 73% before we see a big fall off. I'm talking about a big fall off, not these little pullbacks, accumulation, pumps, pullbacks, accumulation, pumps, pullbacks, accumulation, pumps. So if anybody really wants to understand the Bitcoin market, look at Bitcoin dominance and understand that you haven't missed anything. Guys, I've been buying Chainlink. The altcoins that I do own, I own Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink. And if we were to compare some of these charts, you haven't met, guys, we've been a $12 Chainlink is like a bear market fucking low. $5 to $12 for 2.5 years. You haven't missed shit. So to be overly pumped and overly exposed to altcoins is absolutely batshit crazy. You're not going to hear that from me. I'm not a big crypto influencer. I'm a day trader. You're not going to hear me say, be buying altcoins and fucking DCAing in into fucking losing positions. I'm a day trader. I want to make money daily, and I want to take long swing trades, range trades, play it all the way up, play it all the way down with great risk management, have a daily plan, have an answer for an entry, exit, a stop loss, the whole 9 yards. But right now, Bitcoin dominance is still saying no alt season. All right, no alt season. And again, we always see blow-off tops. Blow-off tops, blow-off tops. You can definitely see on this Bitcoin dominance chart, this is not a blow-off top. All right? Now, it doesn't mean, though, while Bitcoin's inside of these ranges, you know, whether we come back down to 98, that you can't long XRP at 195 and make a shit ton of money on that trade from 195 to 220. I'm doing that. I'm playing those ranges. One of my best strategies that I teach in the Coliseum is to counter trade your altcoins to Bitcoin. Why? Because if Bitcoin drops 1%, most altcoins will drop 5%. If Bitcoin pumps 5%, most altcoins are going to pump 20%. And I would rather take those odds and counter trade my altcoins to Bitcoin. So now let's go back over here to Bitcoin, and we can see here that we've already gone over the scenario that Bitcoin is in a parallel channel, all right? With a pretty high probability, just like it did here, to take out the liquidity. There's more liquidity right here. Massive liquidity, guys. Now, the next scenario for Bitcoin, all right, is if we don't end up putting in down to the 90s, Bitcoin could be setting up a massive, massive sideways trap. All right? And the whales love to trap everybody to steal your money. 2, they also love large ranges. Why do they love large ranges? Because they make more money on the bottoms to the tops and the tops to the bottom of the range than just going in a single direction. All right? So now let's look at that scenario. Bitcoin has also another high probability that this is our range. This is a huge sideways range. Could Bitcoin come right up here to the top and trap everybody and think, oh my God, we're so bullish, we're so back, we're so back. No, we're not. We're so back. No, we're not. Could we get one little squeeze back up here to 111s and everyone says, oh, we're so back? Again, I'm not a breakout trader, and you guys hear me say this all the time. No, we're not. And we could just be inside of this massive, massive sideways range. Where do I get this scenario from? Well, let's look back at the last time we were up here, right up here. Remember, guys, we had this massive range. Let's go back to my rectangle. Massive range right here. Look at this. Massive range, trapping everybody. I told everybody back in November that I'm expecting the 85ers. We called it, I was known for calling the 85ers since November. I said, oh my gosh, these guys haven't been hit for months. The moment we never retested any of this and we just kept cooking, and then I saw this wick, I'm like, oh my goodness, man, this is this one big massive trap. I think I was telling Joshua Jake this, and I'm like, guys, this is a massive trap. Eventually, the 85ers are going to get hit. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Look at this massive trap. Massive trap. And then ready? Boom! Smash the 85ers. Quick V-shaped recovery. Boom! Smash these guys as well. The 78s. And then we ended up finding a bottom somewhere at the top of 72s right in here. I was telling everybody this is going to be the spot. The top of this. Because again, normally on our way up, again, guys, going back to those entities or the whales that have this under full lock, every time we broke out, all right, breakout, retest. All right, look at this. Breakout, retest. Breakout, retest. Breakout took a long time, and everyone said, oh, 75K, we're never going back into the 50s. Everyone is fucking wrong. Everyone keeps saying that, and that's why I said crypto crank scenarios, because nobody knows. All these influencers that aren't traders, that are real hopeful for you, it's hard to have a vision that you're going to come back to these prices. And look, came right back again. Here's the new range. Breakout. We'll never end up seeing 70K again. Boom. Look at that. Look at it. It's just it's too systematic because this is an institutional bull run. So if we think that this is going to be a large range right here with the massive trap, our goal right now is to absolutely play inside of this massive range. All right, look at this massive, massive liquidity, this huge liquidity hunt on everybody that was longing this entire area. Longs, smashed them. We're coming up, high, lower high, lower high, if this doesn't squeeze a little bit more. Now, we also got to be open to that scenario that if everybody knows that this is a lower high, could we get that squeeze finally up to that? I think we could. That's another scenario that we got to be prepared for. Now, could we also come back down to the bottom of this range? I also think that this is, and again, we're going over all of these scenarios right now to be prepared. That way, nobody's surprised. Now, if I was to look at, let's clean all of this up. How do we find some confluence inside of this range? All right, how do we find confluence in this range that I'm talking about? If this is our big range right here, I like pulling a fixed volume, and I pull it from here to here, and we can see huge probability that the bottom of this range right here is going to be our next pit stop before we drop back down to the bottom of the range. And that's going to be 102s to 103s. This morning I was telling everybody in the Coliseum that Bitcoin likes bouncing off of this range and just kind of faking everybody out. You can see here it bounced here, did the liquidity grab, but then popped, came right back down to this little range again. And all you got to do is just pull your fixed volume range, and you guys can see that this is the big point of control in the center of this is right here. This is where they're really capturing. So probability states that if this big dip right here was the big news for the war, for Israel and Iran, whatever. But we recovered really fast. Look where the body candles are closing. All right here on this bar. This bar consists of 102.6 up to 103.7. So you have $1,000 range right in here. All right. Probability states that you're going to have a little pit stop right here. And we can come back up here, or we can come back down to the bottom of this range. But if this is our range right now, we need to be prepared that if Bitcoin is putting in a lower high, our next big trade is going to end up being right here at 102.7s. We got to take that trade. It's worth getting stopped out, all right? And again, you set that stop loss directly underneath here, because if it is, now you can start taking out. At some point, everyone, these whales do like to take out the shorters. Remember, we're talking about scenarios where they hit liquidity. If we know that everybody's shorting this, and everybody's shorting this, and everybody's shorting this, how many times have we seen where everybody's shorting this, and boom, they just take them out? If everybody's shorting this, at some point, they are going to be taken out. Again, this is all about liquidity hunts. This is all about our range. The institutions know, all right? The institutions know, and they at some point they're going to end up doing that. So our first pit stop, if we come down, is going to be at the 102.6, 103.6, right in there. All right, and again, we do have the big volume gaps, and this is what I was talking about. There is nothing in between this. There's nothing. So I'm telling you, if we do end up breaking the $98,000, if we break out of $98,000 breakdown, then I do think that our next big liquidity grab here at the 92s, somewhere in here on this volume, this liquidity, scare the shit out of everybody. I think that's also another big scenario. But we got to take it level by level. Now, what I mean by that, I'm a professional scalper. I love scalping. I also love range trading. I love swing trades on the set and forgets for a peace of mind when they present themselves. Okay, when they present themselves. And when Bitcoin comes down to these ranges, I absolutely love taking trades on Ethereum. I love taking trades on XRP and Solana and Chainlink. One thing you guys are going to learn from Crypto Crank is I'm not all over the board on what I trade. I have 5 assets that I have decided to trade, because the less I look at, the more focused I'm going to be on what I do look at. And this is a great, again, guys, you don't need 10 different assets. You don't need 50 different meme coins. Lock in, understand Bitcoin's price action, understand Bitcoin's levels, and from there you can now go to your altcoins. You can find those levels, and when Bitcoin dumps, I promise you, everyone keeps wondering now people are starting to get it in some of the channels that I'm in, when they're like, oh, why is my Ondo bag doing shit? Well, dude, have you seen Bitcoin lately? It fucking tanked. What do you think Ondo's going to do? Bitcoin is one big anchor. And if Bitcoin dumps, then the rest of your altcoins are going to dump, and vice versa. If Bitcoin pumps, your altcoins are going to pump. So what I mean by that is I ended up taking the XRP trade, because again, when we came down to this level here, 194s, we started recovering at the 208s, 210s. I said, man, I'm going to take that trade. Why? Because Bitcoin is making its bounce, so I'm going to go ahead and take my XRP trade as well. All right, and that's when I took that nice big XRP trade right down here at 210. Really, I really wanted it down here on this level for this double bottom. Caught it a little late, but you know what? We're still killing it. We're still up almost 5. I took off a little, like $500 off of the trade so I can put some bets in yesterday on those UFC fights. But if Bitcoin, we now have an established range, we need to start finding these ranges on our altcoins. All right? So if we look at XRP, We had one bounce off of 217. We had two bounces off of 217. 217 breaks, then we need to start pulling our fib levels on XRP. And what's going to be our next big level here? If we pull our fib from our high to low, in our first case scenario of Bitcoin breaking $98,000, where could XRP drop to? And our number is 210. Right back at my original entry. This would end up being the big fib level from our lows of 206 to our little pump high, 210, 211. So now we have established that if Bitcoin does get down to this 102s, 106s, all right, and it breaks from this 107 that it's currently at, then we can expect it to, when Bitcoin gets its bounce, I'm going to be looking to take these big trades on XRP at 210, 212, depending on where we recover. Now, if Bitcoin breaks through that $98,000, we got to clean all of this up and say, okay, because right now, this is a big range for XRP. The reason I like this range right here, look at 217. Big range, but it's been a serious top on XRP. A serious top. Look at this. Every time. Oh, it's coming back. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. We almost have to take the short. We come back up here to this 220. We almost need to take that trade for the short because technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winning trades on the XRP short at this 220, 221. All right, every time. I'm not a breakout trader. You guys get into if you do get into the Coliseum, you guys are going to learn I am not a breakout trader. You should not either, because more times than not, you got a bullish stick up your ass and it's going to bite you every single time. All right, if we come back up here, I'll be closing my trade one more time. Let's take a quick look at my trade. What are we at? And man, we're sitting on some serious gunpowder. We got about 140 G's on the account right now. 140K ready just to fire off, baby. We got almost $5 on this trade here. We're cooking. So I think I do need to end up closing. If we get back up here into this 220, I should probably, if we do end up breaking up here into this 220, I'm going to be watching Bitcoin. Remember, we talked about a squeeze. We're at 107, 108. If we do squeeze because everyone's shorting that lower high and we get back up to that 110s, 111s, I'll probably be closing this XRP trade. I'll throw in that short because I do think that Bitcoin is going to come back down to that 103 for that liquidity grab, just for starters. Now let's go back over here to TradingView. So now that we have an established range for Bitcoin, we have an established range for XRP, it is time to start looking where do we take those trades. On the low side, we say that XRP is going to end up being 210 if Bitcoin comes back down here to this 102s, 103s. Better scenario, we really want that 202. That 202 on XRP, 195, 202. Man, oh man, oh man, these are fat trades, guys. These are big boy trades. We can catch them. All right, we pull it from here to here. You can see that this 102, this is a big fib level. If we pull it from our lows here of 161, this is our bull market low, to just this high right here at 265, you can see it's just been respecting this. It dipped down almost to the 786, recovered. Look at the candle bodies, recovered between our 618 and our 0.65. We are in a downtrend, okay? 198 to 202. I am looking for that number. That's going to be in, if we can get up to that 220, I'm going to close it out, try to take the short. I'll probably be looking to close it around this 202. 202 again. First level is going to be 210, like we originally talked. So now we have XRP. We have established ranges for Bitcoin. Now let's look at Solana, because Solana, man, is just cooking, baby. Solana had that nice big pump. Everyone's saying they're pricing in the ETF for Solana. When you look at Solana, this is full-blown institutions. All right, let's pull a fib from our low to just this, not the wick, just this right here. We bounced directly off of that 127. I told everybody in the Coliseum again, 130 was that number. 130, you long the shit out of Solana at 130 bucks. And look, beautiful, beautiful pump. This right here, if Bitcoin comes back down to 103s, 102s, and then pops back up to 108, I do think that this market structure right here on Solana is going to break. And this is asking just to take out those shorts. Again, if we go here to right here, parallel channel, you guys can see here, look at this. This is too perfect. At some point, remember we talked earlier in the stream that these like to break out and just take out all these shorts. But it's no different than Bitcoin right now. We have our high, our lower high. We're back up to the top right now. And it's all going to be dependent on Bitcoin. It's all dependent on Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin dominance isn't tanking just yet. We got to understand all of these things simultaneously so that way we are prepared. So if we do end up coming down, I'm still looking at that 132s right in here, because what we would like to see is if Bitcoin, remember scenario 2 is in a big large sideways trade. If she doesn't go for the liquidity, that means that our altcoin is also going to be inside of a sideways range. So if we start looking, if we are in this range right here, and we just start again sideways trading, let's go here. We want to see something like this. Little sideways trades before we nuke on out of here and Bitcoin starts putting it into a new all-time high. And this is, guys, these are long time. We're on a daily right now. Bitcoin's on a daily. I'm showing this as if we're in this large range right here. Look at this, just like this. All right. Solana could be in this range, guys, and this range right here will make you rich. The XRP range between $2 and $2.20 will make you rich. This is much more easier to say, hey, I have a higher probability to take the XRP trade at $2 because we've bounced there so many times. A trade from $2 to $2.20 is, man, let's look at XRP real quick. Just this established range, 202 from here. From $2 to $2.20, guys, is a 10% move. With a little bit of leverage, you could be fucking rich. You can have amazing trades. Part of having amazing trades are knowing your perfect entries and your perfect exits. But third of all, having the patience. You got to have patience in order to catch these positions. All right? You don't need to just be gunslinging in the middle of chop chop. All right, same thing here. If we go over to Solana, that same range, 130 to 160. Sheesh. This will make you rich. 130s to 160 is a 20% range. A little bit of leverage, a little bit of patience. I promise you, we've already established, don't be a breakout trader, because again, look, don't be a breakout trader, because every time you think you're just gonna blow your account. You start thinking and looking at the indicators saying, oh, Solana is sitting on certain EMAs and SMAs and volumes, and then all of a sudden you take the trade at the top thinking it's a breakout, and then Bitcoin takes a shit. And now I hardly hear anybody say, well, I didn't cross-reference my trade against Bitcoin. I cross-reference every one of my trades against Bitcoin. No matter how fucking bullish Solana looks on all the indicators, how bullish XRP looks, all of those trades and all of those indicators will go right down the drain if you don't counter trade it to Bitcoin. The market is not there yet. XRP is not a stock. Solana is not a stock. It doesn't have earning reports. It doesn't have any of that shit. You have speculation. Which means what? I better speculate that it's going to pump and dump with Bitcoin. All right. So now that we have Solana trades, let's also look at Chainlink. I told everybody here at Chainlink, Chainlink absolutely loves $10.40. You know, I really thought that we were going to come down here to this $10.40. Where do I get $10.40 from? All right, you can see just right here. This is a massive range. Here. We came down to 11 bucks. Again, this is another setup here where at some point these shorts are going to end up getting blown out of the water. Another beautiful chart where we have a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high. This is just asking for it eventually, just like Solana and just like XRP. But not until we got... Yeah, Rise and I have a big XRP trade open. Let's go over here. I got the XRP trade. We're up $5,000. I've already taken off. Let's go to closed history, order history. We can see here my trades, closed history. We got plus 400, plus 1100, minus 414, plus 579. This one here, we got almost $5 grand. And man, if I close this trade and we come back down here, I only threw $68,000 on the trade. We're sitting on $140,000 worth of gunpowder. I will full port this bad boy, and you guys will end up seeing this trade, and we'll end up making a nice $15,000, $20,000 trade, just a whopper. A for sure whopper. But yeah, I'm in an XRP trade right now. And I'm looking for some of these trades now that I got my 1-to-1 match with my partnership Zoomex. I'm looking to full port some trades. But again, I'm not going to be trading with $140,000 to $68,000 and not have the patience for the entries. I don't want to participate in this mid chop shit. I want bottoms, I want tops. And you know what? I have zero anxiety of missing trades because I know that we are going to end up coming back to the bottom and we are going to end up coming up to the top. I just need to settle my emotions for the time frame. When will it get there? And when it gets there, am I prepared to take the trade? And that's what we're walking through today, is using Bitcoin with our Bitcoin scenarios. And our Bitcoin scenarios need to front run any idea you have with an altcoin. So today we've established 2 scenarios so far on Bitcoin. All right, we have liquidity grabs. We're either in a downtrend ready to hit a lower low, or we're in a massive sideways range, like we were when we were originally at $90,000 to $110,000. Can you see that? Did you guys see that trade there? You guys should be able to see everything super quick or super clear. And again, I do want to just let you guys know, we got 30 people watching. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for, if you guys could just like the video, follow me on the bottom here of my YouTube. You guys can get into my free, if you're on X, you can get into my free open chat. Surround yourself with 1 million other traders. A lot of other traders. It is an open chat. Everyone's allowed to have an opinion, throw ideas around. Everyone's got the freedom of speech in there to throw your opinions out, and we can cross-reference things, and it ain't all locked up like a lot of channels, as long as everybody can stay respectful. Everybody gets an opinion. And my whole point being today, all right, is Crank's Bitcoin scenarios because no one knows. We want to go through as many different scenarios as possible, so that way when these things happen, it's not like, oh my God, nothing's going to be surprising to me. Nothing's going to be surprised to the Coliseum, because again, the Coliseum is designed and built the way I'm building it in the arena, so that way everybody is prepared for these scenarios. We're ready to trade it. We're ready to execute. We're ready to make a shit ton of money like we've been doing. Guys, last month and a half ago, sheesh, it was a $100,000 month. We were killing it on these scalps, on these trades. Eventually, sometime throughout the summer, we were hoping that we're going to be able to get into some set and forget positions, meaning some nice long swing trades from the bottoms and hold those things into an actual bull run. But we're not there yet, okay? We know because why? Earlier we established that Bitcoin dominance looks like she's ready to rip, and we don't have a blow-off top yet. Let's go back over here to TradingView. We have our scenario here on Chainlink. This is the last one that we're going to be going over. Because again, I'm only trading ETH. We're going to do ETH last because, man, good old ETH. Let's continue this real quick on Chainlink. All right. If we look at Chainlink here, and we were pulling a fib from this low to the high. The reason I thought we were heading back to $10.40 was because, again, when I pulled a fib, from the low of 10.14 all the way up to the highs right here of let's just say $18, we blew through the golden pocket. We blew through the 786. When you start seeing these levels going, we're pulling the fibs from the wrong areas. We need to pull this thing down here. Now we can start seeing that the 1020s, 1040s. This is where I thought we were going to end up landing because, again, I'm pulling the fib from this low just to this high, and I'm pretty much just saying from this to this. This is high, man. If we break this again, guys, we're definitely. If Bitcoin does end up coming back down into that 102s, then I would expect Chainlink to come right back down into 1150s just to start off with. And then if Bitcoin does end up doing the liquidity grabs of 98 down to 91, then 1020 or 1020 to 1040 is that big range right in here. Chainlink likes 1040. But we're going to take it level by level. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum here, guys. We had the big range with a big fake out. We had the big range here. Here is our big range. All right. Here's our big range. And again, going back to not being a breakout trader, I saw some of these guys taking these freaking trades, dude, from up here at the top. 2,700, 3,100's on the horizon. No, it's not. 3,100's on the horizon. No, it's not. 3,100. I mean, I could just get the fuck out of here, dude. Do not be a breakout trader. We can go over many different charts for many different reasons. When we are at the top of the range, guys, do not take those trades. Now, same thing when we're at the bottom of the range like we are right now. Other than the one little, this is what scares me, all right? I don't like that Bitcoin is at the top. I don't like that Bitcoin is up here at the top of the range and Ethereum is at the bottom of the range. If we have established that we need to run every trade idea by Bitcoin, because why? Bitcoin's our anchor. And again, guys, it's so much repetition because of how I trade. Nothing changes. It's the same thing every single day. I do not like that Bitcoin is at the top of its parallel channel. Again, if this is scenario one that we were looking at, I don't like that Bitcoin's at the top of its scenario on this parallel channel, because if it comes down, what do you think Ethereum's going to do? ETH is not going to hold this. Very, 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 very high probability that ETH is not going to hold this, which means that what? We need to start looking about, again, it'd be different if ETH was up here at 2,700 bucks. We're up here, I'd be shorting the shit out of ETH. I would totally be shorting completely on Ethereum right now. We're at the top. Sheesh, this is at the bottom of the range, which means that if this thing does break down, just to the bottom to put in a lower low, or even just down to the 103s that I'm talking about the high volume range in the center here, this is going to break down. Absolutely going to break down. Now, we got to find out where can ETH fall. All right. Oops, where can ETH fall? We got to start pulling our fibs again, guys. So, remember, if we're going to start pulling fibs from these flags, I'm going down to the bottom of the flag. All right, up to the top. You can see that is the golden pocket here. All right. If we are also talking about a sideways scenario and Bitcoin comes down to the bottom, if Bitcoin comes down to the bottom of that range, then I would say that here's going to be our new range to trade. All right, here's going to be our new range to trade. And that's going to be between 2100s up to 2400s. And this could be our new established range. And this is a massive range to make some money. These are 15% moves, man. Little leverage, even just that 2x leverage. These are 30% moves on your account. Insane money to be made here on these ranges, guys. And again, we're looking at all these scenarios right now because the only way I can see Ethereum popping back up to the top of the range is if Bitcoin does a squeeze. And if Bitcoin was to squeeze from here back up to the top, that's a 4% move. If Bitcoin does a 4% move, can ETH do a 15% move? I think so. Remember, we already talked about, baby, if everyone knows and it's so obvious about shorting these lower highs, if we do squeeze, all right, maybe put in a new all-time high at 112s or something, just a little bit higher, just to squeeze, to just take out these guys, then yeah, could I see that Ethereum gets back up to the top? Do I see a trade scenario here at this range on Ethereum? Maybe. I just hate, because I counter trade all of my positions to Bitcoin. I just do not like that that Bitcoin's up at the top of its range and ETH is at the bottom of its range. That kind of goes against everything that how I trade against Bitcoin. You guys understand? Oh, you guys following with me? And Ryzen, yeah, we've gone over a whole bunch of different trading scenarios, XRP, Solana, Chainlink. I am looking to take those trades. I think right now with Ethereum or Bitcoin being up at the top of its range and XRP being at the top of its range. This is a top, guys. This is for, if we go to XRP, let's just go to a 2 hour here. This is a top. All right, this is a top. Fake it. Nope. Back up again. Trying to hold. Try to held here. It just range trade right here. Doing the same thing. You know, if we do get back up into this 220, I was talking about maybe shorting it. If we kind of just do a little fake out again, come back up here to this 222, maybe take the short, stop loss above. I would like to get, I would rather get stopped out because, again, if we do come back over here, then we're looking at the big boy top. XRP loves 232 right here. XRP loves this. Right here, right here, right here. Boom. So I am holding my, I have my trade in from 210. I have my trade in at 210 from right here. We caught this whole move. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient on my moves right now. But again, we're going over Bitcoin scenarios, altcoin scenarios, so that way we're prepared. And again, if you guys want to get inside of the Coliseum, you guys are more than welcome to take these trades with me. I am not a call group, but you guys are more than welcome to take these scalps with me as I teach you how to trade. I'm showing you how to use fib tools, how to use volume indicators, support and resistance, how to scalp, how it's better off to take these these scalp trades within the range. Guys, this is still not a set and forget environment. We have a president, guys, that on the heat of a tweet, it'll fuck up your whole trade. One tweet. So I'd be taking my daily bread instead of my weekly bread, and that's in the form of a scalp. I hope that makes sense as well. Let's look at my trade right now here. Where's Bitcoin at right now? 103.700s or 107.300s. And again, if you guys are not signed up with Zoomex, you guys absolutely should be. You get tier 4 fees right off of the bat. Tier 4 fees right off of the bat. Just take a look at it. You guys get tier 4 fees right off of the bat. You get 0.012 maker, 0.027. The industry standard is 0.02 and 0.06. These fees are 75% lower than anybody else can offer you guys. And all you have to do is sign up underneath my link. It's in the pinned message inside of the YouTube. I see a lot of people are watching here on X. If you guys do get a chance to make it over to the YouTube, you guys can get inside of the Cranksters Lounge, which is my open chat. And then you guys can eventually make your way over to the Coliseum. Trying to see, because we got a lot of gunpowder here, but guys, I want to be patient. I do want to be patient on the trades. Let's see what we can find, though. My problem is, guys, is if I should probably close the XRP trade because, again, if this does not break up towards the 232s that I'm talking about, I ain't trying to round trip anything. Last night I almost closed it when we got down here to 217.50. Like if we break this right in here, I'll probably just close it for $4,000. But I do like, you know, here's the thing that I teach inside of the Coliseum as well. When you're scalping and you're range trading, you're not trying to hit home runs. Everybody needs to understand that when you're scalping, you know, you want to just you want to catch them from the bottoms and you want to short from the tops. And eventually when you start hitting your singles and your doubles and you're getting on base, hit your singles, hit your doubles. When you're in from the bottom, you end up catching home runs. You know, you end up riding it out and you do end up catching the home run. So right now, worst case scenario, I'm going to make $4,000. If we run, I'm going to really catch a banger. What is that trade right there at 232s, just like our talking to the top of the range? At 230, let's just say 230, I'll make $11,400. $11,000 trade, that's pretty good. What I'm really excited about is if I do close this at $4,000 and we come back and this is our big range, between this 206 and this 220 or $2 and 220, I'll end up full porting the whole bag on XRP. XRP's got tons of liquidity, guys. You guys can get in and out and scalp it like crazy. I'll end up full porting the whole 140 G's. And then we won't be making no $4,000 on these trades. We're going to be making, 20, 25, 30 grand on these trades, left and right. Nasty, nasty, nasty scalps. Let's see here. We've been live for almost an hour. I wanted to stay on for an hour and just go over our Bitcoin scenarios. Do you guys have any questions, any of my viewers? That if Bitcoin is stuck inside of a large range between 110 and 100 grand, that's a 10% move. It's a 10% up and down for these whales and entities just to make billions. And that's what they're doing, is they're capturing everybody. All right? Everyone was talking about Bitcoin reserves. We haven't talked about that shit in a whole month. Another storyteller. Fucking story time with the influencers. Story time. I say it's time to make money. And these scenarios right here will make you money. Let's see if we can find any other trades, though, because again, we're sitting on some large gunpowder right now. Let's see here. We're looking here. Last thing we're going to do is we are going to be looking at some market cipher as well. And let's see what we got here. On the 2 hour, look at this momentum wave. This was strong. This momentum wave was strong. Which tells me here, guys, that if on the 2 hour, this momentum wave was like this one up here. Boom. I want to see if everyone starts shorting this, if they blow these guys out of the water on the 2 hour. 1 hour, same thing. This was a nice big move, push up. We got to see if any of this holds. Everyone's trying to short, and then bam, they just squeezed right up to that 110s, 109s. Let's look at something else real quick, guys. I'm going to go to the heat map real quick. Yeah, look at this, guys. This heat map is lit up all the way up to 110, and then right below us at 106. This is going into everything that I'm talking about. Let's go out to a 1 month real quick, and let's really zoom out. Golly, look at this. 111. 111s. 99s. I want to go out even farther. I want to go to a 6 month. 91s, 93s, guys. Look at this massive gap underneath here. It's either we come up to 111s, guys. 90K is still on the charts. I don't know why nobody's talking about it. 90K is still in play. And look, just like I was talking about that, look 93 grand. Remember we already established, take out the liquidity right here. We could totally take out the liquidity right here and just scoop this up, Pac-Man style. But right now, probability states squeeze to the upside, especially now that we've established these scenarios. If this breaks down right here, man, towards this 103, then the XRP short is completely valid. If we know now that XRP comes up to here at this 220, rolls over down to 208, if this thing rolls over, man, and Bitcoin rolls over, golly, this is a nice short on XRP. Low leverage. Low leverage. From here to here is a 1% move. So even if you didn't use any leverage, but the move down right here is almost a 4% move. So you're using a 1 to 3. Great scenario, great trading setup, especially because Bitcoin, the way you would want to say for the XRP short, you're counter trading it to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up at the top of the parallel channel for a lower high. XRP is also up at the top. And if you guys notice, look at this. Again, I do not like that Ethereum is at the bottom of its range, man. I don't like that Ethereum's at the bottom of its range and Bitcoin's at the top. This tells me bloodbath for ETH. But again, XRP short all day long. Again, I'm in from the bottom, guys, at 210. Rode this up. I could probably close this. We could probably open up a nice little... I guess I can hedge trade it right now and open up a short. I really wanted it at 220. That way I have both trades open. So this would be considered a schlong. We can catch a schlong. What that means is that I'm long here from 210. Hoping that we get up to the 232s, 230s. All right. Just 228s, 230s, somewhere in here. All right. But we also open up the short. And if we open up the short, let's just say from 220, stop loss right above here. We could also be writing this back down. We got a schlong. Technically, what I would do is I would close the long on the break of 217. I'd make $4,000. And my short prints, I lock in $4,000 here. All right, but my short's going to end up printing me probably another $4 or $5,000. Now, on the schlong longed it from the bottom. If we do break out here, my short gets stopped out, probably for $300-400. The long's going to end up printing $11,000-12,000 like you guys saw. Excellent trading scenarios right here for sure. With the schlong. Yeah, the other thing too, guys, I don't go into a whole lot of other altcoins, man. If you guys see on my chart, you guys see Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Link. I do like trading some Jupiter if I'm feeling a little froggy. On Jupiter, I normally trade with... Ooh, what's going on here with Jupe? See, like on Jupiter, everyone in my channel has seen me trade Jupe, man. I only trade with about $2,500. I use 15x leverage, and it's the easiest way to make $1,000 because these moves, if you're just patient for it, I'd be saying right now that if Jupiter decides to trumpet up to like 48, 49 cents, I'd probably short that right back down to this area that we're at right now. She trumpets, you short, it comes right back down. She trumpets, she comes right back down. She trumpets, she comes right back down. These are nice trades. I do like taking this on Jupiter from time to time. I made a ton of money on Jupiter, man, taking these longs. Let's go into a little closer time frame. I don't even know. Do we have Jupiter here on we gotta have Jupe. See, like if Bitcoin just decides to squeeze, you're going to end up getting the trumpet right off on Jupiter, and then you can fire off on that short. Same thing with Bitcoin. Some nice trades there. Here goes Jupe right now. And again, I hope you guys like today's content. It's just Bitcoin scenarios because no one knows. This is my style of trading. I have the two big scenarios in my mind that either we're inside of a parallel downtrend or we're in a sideways range between 98 and 111. And I'm prepared for both those scenarios. Both scenarios have highs and lows, and I'm ready to take the trades from both. Absolutely ready to take the trades from both. And again, just like I was talking here, if, man, little Jupy babe, what's up with Jupy babe? Turn off this cross shit. And I only do isolated trades on the exchange. Isolated. I don't ever play with cross. I am looking at Jupiter right now. I'm looking at Jupy baby right now. 4580s. I want to see Jupe come up and put in a little bit of a higher high, and then maybe take that short. I'm watching Bitcoin because, again, Bitcoin came down. Remember, one of the scenarios we talked about is Bitcoin squeezing. If everybody's shorting the top of this, guys, can they squeeze, okay, and just do a short squeeze? It's too obvious to everybody, guys, that if retail is going to even try to trade this, again, I'm retail, you're retail, we're nobodies. If everybody's trying to short these, at some point they're going to squeeze them. And that's what we could see here, or they just plummet us right down to the bottom of the range. And again, if they do plummet us to the bottom of the range, then I would be saying shorts on XRP at 220. I'd be saying shorts on Jupiter if it just squeezes with it a little bit. Let's see if we can find any of these scalps right now. See, like, even if Bitcoin squeezes right now, I do think that Jupe's going to end up popping up here. What kind of percentage is this? Can I make any money on this? This is a 0.5%. Can you trade on some mid chop? I hate it, but you can do it. We've been streaming, what, right at an hour? I think Bitcoin's getting ready to squeeze back up, guys. We came back down somewhat to the bottom of this range. I do think Bitcoin's going to end up squeezing back up to the top. And there goes Jupe. Again, I do think that Jupe's going to end up squeezing as well. Are any of you guys in any positions? I'd like to know if anybody's inside of any positions. Again, I'm inside of the XRP trade. XRP trade from the bottom. It's really my only trade that I'm in. And 222 is the high of the range for XRP. If anybody is inside of these trades right here, man, if this thing squeezes up to 222 and Bitcoin starts getting big time rejection off of that squeeze, I'm going to have to close this trade because I do think that we come back down to this 210. I ain't trying to round trip any of this. What other trades can we look at? So we got XRP. I'm looking at Chainlink real quick on my TradingView. Looking at Chainlink right now, guys. Again, Chainlink is also doing the same thing. It's back up to the top of its little range here. On a 20-minute, you guys can see here that on Link, it's inside of this little range right here. Tried breaking down twice, but multiple touches the better. We come back up to the top of this. It's almost like everything's kind of primed up to where if Bitcoin does squeeze, if Bitcoin squeezes, man, these things are going to break out a little bit. But I mean, shorts on Chainlink at 14 bucks, 14. But man, taking these longs right now, guys, are just crazy. The probability states everyone should be shorting this stuff. And that's just based off of the market structure. You know, if Bitcoin decides to just truly break out up towards that 112, 117, then all these trades, obviously, everything's going to break out with it. But I'm not a breakout trader. I'd rather we see a breakout, retest, and then roll out. You know? Breakout, retest. I think Bitcoin's getting ready to squeeze. The fact that she slowed down a little bit right here, I think Bitcoin's getting ready to squeeze. So let's put that idea to test real quick here. Let's go to Market Cipher. Let's go to a 10-minute. 10-minute, we're just getting, RSIs are super tight and low. Super tight and low. We just got into the red. We're about to enter into the red, but VWAP is pointing up. It's anchored up. Go to a 7-minute. 7-minute money flow, and momentum is getting weaker to the downside, but money flow is still pretty red. Can she come down a little bit more? Let's go to a 5-minute. As we came down on a 5-minute, again, momentum's getting weaker to the downside. Money flow is starting to curve. We're still in the red, though. Which means that can we come down to the bottom of this range where Bitcoin's been trading? Somewhere down in here. And remember, we were talking about 106.7, 107.3s right in here. This is where it's been trading the whole time. Between this. If this holds. If this is going to squeeze. Momentum's pretty high on this here. So Ryzen is inside of a ETH from 23.98. TP is 24.64. $23.98, 2400. So you're in a good position from the bottom of the range, at least. Again, TP already, though. If you just go all the way back here, this is the top, you know what I mean? This is its range. If we just clean up all this shit. You're in from the bottom of this range, 23.98. This is the top of the range. Here, 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 here. We've only done it twice. With another rejection here. So if this, if Bitcoin does not squeeze the way I'm talking about, then this little upward trend that it's just been kind of just climbing on, about to head right back down to the bottom of the range where entry's at. For damn sure, guys, if Bitcoin squeezes, I'm going to be looking to fire off some shorts. I'm going to end up having to close my XRP trade and probably jumping into a short because I don't think Bitcoin, I mean, excuse me. Momentum on the daily. Momentum's weak on the daily. We don't have shit. Money flow's coming down. The 4 hour, money flow's just slowly coming down. The 1 hour, money flow's shit, man. When we came all the way up here to the top, man, money flow's coming down all the way. I mean, 20 minutes. If we squeeze, I'm going to have to take that short. Just based off of market cipher. We're not heading up. Money flow and everything's not climbing. It's not climbing like it was here. On the 1 hour, it's not climbing up like it was here. It's coming down. And we're at almost to the zero line, which has kind of just been flat. Which is why we have just this, again, this flat little choppy, undecisive range. This is a big trap. This is a trap right here. And again, we have, how do we know? We also have confluence that it's also the top of the range. Of the parallel channel that we've been talking about. This is one big trap right here. I don't even think my hedge mode is on. Is my hedge mode on? Again, if Bitcoin squeezes, guys, be prepared for the Jupiter shorts, for the XRP shorts. That's my next play since I'm in from the bottom. I'm either going to close my XRP trade for $4 grand, ride it up to the top on the squeeze, but I am looking for shorts. Especially because, I mean, damn, man, even Solana just had a massive move, right? I mean, look at this shit. This bad boy took off. 7-8% move. When was this? The 26th, 27th? What's today? Today's the 29th. So from here, 28th. Yeah, yesterday. I mean, even yesterday, what, a 5% move? What is this? 3-4% move, 5% up at the top. All right, guys. I think that we covered all of the Bitcoin scenarios, crank style. You guys are kind of seeing what I'm seeing now. I walked everybody completely through it. I told you guys the trades that I'm looking to take, the trades that I'm already in. Tomorrow, I will be ripping with the Coliseum bright and early. And again, the account's loaded. We're ready to full tilt, full port some of these trades if the setup is there. Again, you don't ever want to force a trade. You want to make sure that if your strategy and your setup is there, you take the trade with conviction. If you don't have any, conviction in your trades or your setups, and you're just you're technically just gambling and you're playing with emotions, and that is a serious recipe to blow your account. No, thank you. No, thank you. So, hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday. And again, if you guys could just like the stream for me. If you're on X, jump over to YouTube, subscribe, and then you guys can get inside of the Cranksters Lounge, which is the free Telegram group. Depending if we get into any other big trades, I might be live again tonight, if trade presents itself. So, hope you guys have a good day.